Hi, and welcome to this presentation of the Codea Project Builder. So the Codea Project Builder is a build machine which allows you to do everything you would do on PC. It does it for you, so you can build your product in Codea, everything, do it on iPad. Then a few minutes later, after you export it to either Dropbox or the Google Drive, you wait a few minutes and then you'll get the build project with your add-ons, your resources like MP3 files, everything ready. You get it in TestFlight, which allows you to install it on your device, everything from your device. So I'm going to create a very simple project where I play music and MP3 music. I'm even going to download it on my iPad so you can see that everything I'm doing is actually happening on my iPad. So first thing I'm going to do is go to my media here, which I use. It's a browser which allows me to download MP3 files directly on the device. So I'll look for free MP3s. Let's get the first one. There we go, Codea rocks.mp3. And then we can open it in Dropbox. In my resources, there we go, Codea rocks.mp3 added to my resources, and I have some add-ons. The add-ons are using something I describe on my blog. You can see the link in the video. So it's ready now. I'm going to go back to Codea, create a new project, Codea rocks, and very simple. I'm going to use a function I created, play music. There are plenty of tutorials to do this. And I put a parameter for volume. So here I'm just going to use 0.5, and I'm going to reuse my common project, and I'll show you what it looks like in Codea. So this is the function I'm using here, play music. It's very simple. It's looking at the function exists, because obviously the function is in native in Objective-C. If it doesn't exist, it won't do anything. But if it exists, then it calls the function with the volume I passed in. So I'm going to go back to Codea rocks. So it's ready to play music on start. One thing you can do is you can tweak your project. So I have a special file name, build config. I'm just gonna paste here code from a different project, and you can set the distribution list for TestFlight, so who's gonna be notified that you have a new build available. Set the version, the bundle version, add some build notes if you want to describe what you changed in the project in this version. So we're playing some rock music. I need to specify the add-ons I'm using. I'm using the MusicAddon, and I want to copy Codea rocks.mp3. If you don't set the add-ons line, if you don't write the add-ons lines and the resources line, it's going to copy everything, so it can be useful when you start working on a project, but then eventually you want to make sure you don't get all your MP3s, just the ones you need. There we go, now we just export. So here I'm using Dropbox, and I'm saving in a special folder which I set in the Codea Project Builder to read from. So so you can see in Dropbox the file is there, Codea rocks, and the project here in Jenkins. You'll see that I set my projects folder to point to my Dropbox folder, and soon it will detect that there has been a change. There we go. Let's check this output here. So the first part is what Codea Project Builder does. So it checks the mobile provision so it can use it for compiling. Then it checks which files have been modified or the new files like Codea rocks. It's preparing the build, so it found the project name, It's copying it locally and then unzipping the file. It checks if you have a build config Lua file. It's optional, but it's very useful. So it checks it and it simply it removes the comments from the file and then writes it to environment variables, which are used later in the process. Here we're adding the add-ons and resource files to Xcode, and then we're doing the Xcode build. So this is using a Jenkins plugin, which does the work for us, changes the version, preparing the build, and then it's compiling. Now it's compiled, it's generating the IPA file, and then finally it's using the TestFlight plugin, so TestFlight Jenkins plugin, to upload your build to TestFlight. So TestFlight is a very nice tool. Everything I'm using is free, and TestFlight allows you to send your build to the web, and then you can share it with people by email if you set up your mobile provision properly, and then they can simply launch TestFlight on their device and install on their device. So here, it's ready. So we're going to testflightapp.com. And I can see Codea rocks with my icon. Simply tap install here. Launch it. There we go. Rock music playing. You could even add new plugins. So I could, if I wanted, I could develop the Game Center plugin using any text or code editor you have on your iPad. In this case, I could go to, if I wanted to tweak something, I can go to my Dropbox, add-ons. Let's say I want to do some changes to my MusicAddon. I just downloaded it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a function here. It's a very simple function, set volume. Right. Let's go to the .m file, register that function here. There we go. All right, there we go. So now I'm just gonna upload this to my Dropbox, updated. Now one thing I could do is I could go back to Codea and export again. If you just want to make a quick build, you can go to your PC if you want. You could connect to Jenkins on your iPad as well. Here I can actually just force a build of this project. Force build for Codea rocks. Start it manually. We'll see if this code compiles, and while this is happening, I'm going to go to Codea. There we go. Sure, everything compiles fine. Right, we have a volume slider. It's calling a function to change the volume on Objective-C. Alright, and then export is ready. Stop the export, but I can see there's an error here. So let's go fix this. And there we go, volume slider.